Hey, Dota fans, and welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. This is episode number 159. We are back to the original feed. We are no longer shared tangos, and we are once again Trent and Zyori. It feels good to be home, Trent. It feels good to be here. You know, we made it all the way
I can
back.
relax from my other super serious podcast.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful over there on shared tangos, I tells you. So as a quick little bit of housekeeping, we are back to the original feed. The original iTunes got dilapidated. iTunes doesn't like it when you make files unavailable and try to bring them back again. So I submitted this morning to have a new iTunes feed. Keep an eye out for that. But the Spotify is back. If you type Trent and Zyori into Spotify, you should find Shared Tangos and the Trent and Zyori podcast. And I've been slowly re-adding all those old episodes. Of course, everything else is still available on the Moonduck YouTube, and we're still here on the Moonduck Twitch. Not much has changed. The only thing that you're going to have to do is, again, punch a couple 5 stars on our new iTunes feed when we find it. So, you know, that's how she goes. Trent, welcome back, buddy. How you been?
Thank you.
The last 2 weeks or however long.
Pretty good. Got to sneak in a tiny bit of Dota. I think I played like 4 or 5 games. That was excellent. Been kind of using some of our lost podcast time to sneak some in the middle of the day. So that's been great.
Yeah.
Very appreciative of my dear wifey allowing me to sneak away from the children. Games haven't been going that great. I think I'm 1-3.
Well, you haven't played in a while though, right? You got a little bit of rust to break off, dude.
I'm so rusty. Like I'm terrible, and I know I'm terrible too.
You
Plus,
got some
I'm caverning
cobwebs
too, so I'm not even playing like good heroes. So, yeah, but it's all right. It's obviously it feels really good to get back into Dota. I need to like reinvigorate the positive aspect of Dota. You know, there's so many negative aspects of Dota between like I can't go to LANs, that makes me sad, and I haven't been able to play a lot of Dota, but then, you know, the games haven't been that great because the patch isn't, you know, necessarily that fun right now for a lot of the pro teams. It feels a little one-sided. There's still some good games, but overall I feel like the quality of the games hasn't been that incredible.
Yeah.
So everything about Dota right now has really been kind of bumming me out a little. The Battle Pass wasn't that amazing. It's like it's pretty good, but there's a lot of problems.
Interesting. So, all right, what's the biggest beef with the Battle Pass right now? Because I've been relative to the other Battle Passes, I've found it to be pretty comparable.
I mean, guilds are amazing. My main problem is that
guilds are cool.
The idea of just like stuff is locked really high. And I don't really have a problem with you charging people a lot for Arcanas and like unlocking it all. I don't really care about that, but I like that one Reddit post that pointed out just like how far all the voice lines are. Like, why not bring down a bunch of the voice lines? That's just something that a lot of people can enjoy. It makes the game more fun. Like, put the voice lines a lot lower down. Like the fact, what are those legacy ones? They're like 1,000 or something. It's insane.
It's like it used to be 1,000 was where you get the little Aegis placard. And that was kind of the crazy, hey, I want to spend a lot of money, and this is the big leap to unlock stuff. And now it kind of feels like the Aegis is just a midpoint. You know, it's just muddled in with all this other stuff. And you look at some of those.
If you want, you know what's cooking. You need level 1,240. 5.
What? 1,200?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Echo Slamma Jamma. Like, all the old ones. Roshan. Like,
yeah.
Come on, man. That's not cool.
Yeah, you can. So this brings up an interesting point. I was chatting with a semi-pro player in Dota yesterday, and we were just kind of shooting the shit, bitching, if you will, about all the gripes. Maybe we were feeling some of that negativity you're talking about. But he brought up this idea that if you look at the business model of Dota Plus, he said that's only something a game developer like Valve will implement if their analysis is Dota is dying and we just need to get ahead of the curve in terms of cashing out. And he said basically, like, if you have a growing game that is still hype, microtransactions are all you need. You'll make just as much, if not more money off that, and there's no PR negative to that. Whereas Dota Plus, some people are Dota Plus haters. I wouldn't say it's a value service. I only buy it because Dota is my fucking job, so it seems like a reasonable kind of thing to have as a vanity type deal. But if I was just a regular Dota player, I wouldn't say I recommend it to my viewers. I wouldn't suggest you spend money on Dota Plus. You don't get very much for it. It's a bit of a cash grab. And I hadn't really thought about it like that, but when you start to visualize business models and then you look at this battle pass, it does start to feel like that's the way we're going. You know, they know that there's a ceiling on what we can do with cosmetics. I've said this a bunch of times. I know you've disagreed with the TF2 type model, but I think we're just looking at Dota as, all right, let's milk this cow before she catches cancer because she's starting to look a little bit like Licky, you know? But maybe I'm just too cynical.
No,
I'm not
I see
sure.
what you're saying, though. There's
It's an
definitely
interesting
some.
point. It got me thinking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, my whole point is that I really want to just get the fun part of Dota back, which is just playing
Yeah.
Dota. I just want to play some fucking Dota, dude. But, I really don't enjoy playing by myself. Like, half the fun of Dota to me is playing with friends. Like, solo queue's okay. I used to play solo queue. I babysit 2 kids all day, man. I don't really feel like doing that in my spare time.
Yeah.
I'd rather play with my friends and get mad at them and enjoy wins with them.
I feel you. It's nice to have an escape. I guess, what is the update for all y'all up there in California? Is it still pretty locked down? Like, are some things reopening? Because we're like maybe 30% back to normal here, maybe 40%. I mean, if you take the riots out of the equation.
We just reopened services like restaurants and stuff, but everyone still has to do like distancing and stuff. But
well, you can go get your hair cut now and shit, right?
Yes, you can go get your hair cut and
Yeah.
everything. Our COVID stuff's really good. We've had no new COVID-19 cases, and we only have 4 active cases right now.
And you guys are testing?
Actually, yeah, my wife got tested just because she was pretty sure it was just allergies and pretty sure it was just because I elbowed her in the head. But she had some of the secondary symptoms. And so she's supposed to go get tested, and they have tons of tests right now. So, like, literally she called and they said, yeah, come in and, like, come in tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Dude, I want to
So
get an
she did.
antibody test so bad. And
I know. She couldn't get that, though. It was just the nose test.
I see. Yeah. I mean, I'm
But
positive
we're
I
clear.
don't have it right now, but I think there's a small chance I might have. And I would love to just know. I would gladly pay $100 to take the test if there were some way to access it. And maybe it's
I
possible.
really can't
but-
believe you just jumped over the fact that I said I elbowed her in the head and you didn't even ask a question.
Well,
I'm a little disappointed.
I just assumed that it was some sort of rollover dream type scenario. You know, you're having
Very
a nightmare
close,
about Dota.
actually. Very
And,
close.
you were throwing a punch hook and she was in the wrong spot.
We were at the cottage, and there's this light like above the cottage bed, like in the bedroom that we sleep in. And Grant was in his crib, like next to the bed, and she had to get up and everything. And I was trying to turn on the light so she could see, but she was already on her way back down. So while I'm reaching up to flick this light, she like flopped down on the bed right into my elbow with her temple. Oh my god, it was so painful. It was those moments where you could tell you really fucked someone up.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
like when you're playing soccer and you launch one, it just hits them square in the nuts, and you're kind of like, it's not what I was aiming for, but I do feel bad that I hit you spot on because I know how much power I put behind it. You know, I know those feels, dude. That's rough
Yes.
stuff.
At least that's the story I'm going with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we're not COVID-y, and yeah, 4
Okay.
active cases is like crazy good. So very happy right now.
I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up with the latest data. I don't know how good or bad it is in Colorado, but I can vouch anecdotally that Boulder has been pretty adherent to the restrictions. Everywhere I go has like the dividers, so you're not actually face to face with somebody behind a register. Everybody's wearing masks. A lot of stores have people wearing gloves. It seems pretty serious. You see most people wearing masks in public, like 98%.
Dude, ours is like in stores, everyone wears a mask. But if you're going
Yes.
to like go for a walk around like your neighborhood, no one wears a mask.
Right.
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we're the same. I don't wear one when I'm walking around the neighborhood, but I stay
Yeah.
like 15 feet away from people and stay
Yeah,
wide on the
exactly.
trail. So like I don't know. Scary times. The worst part about all this is at this point, I don't know what's real anymore. We have entered this age, like the internet was this amazing tool when we looked at it in terms of look at all this data and everyone will have free access and we can all learn and this is so great for humanity. And we didn't really think about what would happen when there's so much data, so much information that it's like a full-time job to
It is.
discern fact from crap when trying to just research anything you don't understand. Current events are the hardest because there's even less information and there's more buzz and more hysteria. But just in general, I'm finding it harder than ever to learn things. You can't Google stuff. And there was a golden period where you could Google stuff and get somewhat
The
decent
truth.
information.
Yeah.
Now it's like I don't know whose job it is to police this. I don't know if it's possible to moderate. It's such an odd. It's the same thing for Dota. I mean, there's so much information. There's so many guides out there, and so many things have changed. There's a lot of unintentional misinformation still live on the web.
It's true.
You know, and like that stuff, it's sort of like how they say governments never go back and delete laws. So over time, it just gets more and more bloated. You know, you just write more, you never take them away. The internet's kind of like that. We're just putting more shit out there, and I guess some servers go offline, but she's a net growth for sure. I don't know what to. So I've just stepped away. I've been living in my Dota bubble, Trent. Since the Battle Pass came out, I've been taking occasional days off, but I've been doing like a solid 10 plus games per day.
Helping out the guild, eh?
My arm hurts. I had to stretch last night. Dude, I am. Can we just talk about Dota pubs for a minute here? I need to.
Yes, please.
I need some real advice, bud. Okay,
I'm ready.
I am literally, I don't use that word lightly, at the lowest MMR I have ever been in my entire life.
Oh yeah, you're down to Archon.
I am Archon 4. I'm at 2,700 even. My last session was another. I think I was like -4 or something like that.
Oof.
So like. I think I calibrated when Ranked came out or whatever, like 2013, 2014 at like 3,300, 3,400. Highest
Sounds
I've
about right.
been is like 39. I think I hit 4K once and then fell right back down to 39. And
Right.
that was when I was working at BTS or right after. And ever since then, it's always been sort of a slow trickle, and like 3,500 has been my average. Midas mode was rough. Lost a lot of calibration games and a lot of games otherwise playing while stressed and drunk. Not a good idea.
Oh yeah, that killed me too. That
And
was a good
I
one.
went down to like 3,200-ish, 33 maybe after Midas mode. And since then, it just feels like my sessions always average neutral or negative. I don't have many of those. I was +5 today. Fucking yeah. Or if I do, I immediately go -5 the next day. And since the Battle Pass came out, I have been struggling to grind upward. And I've gotten to the point where I'm mega tryhard. And I think I'm either throwing games or I'm demoralizing my team or I've got to be doing something wrong. At this point, I can't objectively say I'm unlucky.
You're obviously the problem.
Well,
That's where we're
certainly
at.
some games are unlucky. There's always those games
Of
where,
course.
you know, somebody steals a bounty rune and your mid Zeus gets tilted and starts feeding. And that's just shit happens. But that is generally a break even because it happens the other way, where you have those games where you're ahead at 15 minutes and the other team types GG and starts feeding. So I don't think that's lucky or unlucky. It's just the variation of Dota games. So looking at the sample size, looking at the effort I've put in and how much of it's been cataloged on stream, I need to face the facts and realize that I think I'm the problem here, dog.
Dude,
So,
you do win a lot of games as Viper though.
Viper is pretty fun. You know how I think Jack was the one that said in China games, at least this was maybe 2 years ago, games were very brawly. So he would just pick Undying and he would say it's not because Undying's a good hero, it just matches the play style of how the average pub goes. So I fuck him up, and yeah, it's really fun. I channeled that same mentality of Viper, where it's like I can kill the enemy carry. He's a pretty tanky offlaner if you build like Greaves, Pipe, you know, whatever. And I don't know, people run at you and underestimate how much you can survive if you go for the spell lifesteal talent.
Why'd you stop playing Witch Doctor? Weren't you killing it as Witch Doctor?
I got a little bored. I won't lie.
That's fair.
It was more because I wanted to stop playing support. I started feeling like I want to. It's twofold. While I'm this low, it feels like a good opportunity to really start learning how to play core a lot better.
That's a good point.
Because I've got nothing to lose.
You might as well.
Right? And yeah, and I think there's a degree of some games it's nice to feel like you have some control, you know, where you can actually make plays instead of being the Witch Doctor. It's like, guys, can we please smoke? Guys, can we please smoke? Guys, please, I really want to kill him. And you're kind of just like hoping your Terrorblade will come out of the jungle. Some games I want to be the Terrorblade. I want to have the control. So I don't know. If you're playing 15 games a day, if you're playing support every game, it gets a little tiresome, dog. By day 5, believe me, you're ready to play a little off lane.
I hear you. So what are you gonna do? You gonna play 1, 2, or 3?
So I talked to Jenkins a little bit because he was the first person I thought of, and I sent him a similar message of like, buddy, I think I'm doing something wrong. How much for some coaching sessions? And he said, you've given me so much. I would gladly coach you for free. I was like, oh, that's nice. We had a little bro moment. He suggested I 2 things. He said, pick one hero and really, really try to master it. He said, if you really want to grind MMR,
that is the way.
Yeah, you seriously need to go small pool and just, okay, I'm platinum at whatever. And he said, any role, if you're that good at a hero, you can have a crazy good impact. And he said, number 2 is if you can, try to pick a hero that can play multiple roles. And he said, like, right now, Queen of Pain is busted. And he said the build that he goes is Spirit Vessel first item. He said it's a combination of playing the most broken hero and buying the most broken item. And it's good on her because you can just get Vessel, get a few charges, and then dagger Spirit Vessel or like a support in the back line, and they basically die. If you hit them with that and your ultimate, they 100% die unless you're super far behind. So it's easy mode. You can kill somebody without compromising your position like you have to do with a hero like Viper, who's slow and has relatively small range. So he said it just gives you the flexibility to play a lot of different roles and still have a big impact.
I will at least say my other advice then, from my history of doing the same thing in other games, is you also need to find a hero you thoroughly enjoy. Like, don't pick something just because it's meta. I mean, obviously, yes, don't pick the worst hero in the game, but if you don't think Queen of Pain's fun, don't pick Queen of Pain. You know what I mean?
I think that's good advice. That's a little bit how I feel with Viper. He's pretty
exactly.
boring. It's fun to kill people. It is satisfying to win the off lane and kill the enemy carry and watch a Drow run into the jungle at level 4, but it is. I don't know how many Viper games I can play in a row. Like if I game 10, it's like, okay.
Like, I could literally play Crystal Maiden forever. If they took away every Dota hero, I could play Crystal Maiden or Wind Ranger forever. I'm pretty sure. And I would not get bored.
I feel that way a little bit with Witch Doctor. He is pretty goddamn satisfying. I like that you can heal and you can set stuff up and do big damage.
Oh, Disruptor too? Oh, God, I can play Disruptor forever.
I actually could play a lot of CM as well. She's pretty fun. I've gotten owned by a couple good CMs recently.
Finding a good core in this patch is very hard, I think, if like a good core that you just want to play for. I definitely agree that if you can play Queen of Pain for fun, then 100%. I think Queen of Pain's pretty fun, personally.
I do too.
She can be support. She can be off lane, mid, or even 1 right now.
It's wild that she can 1. I haven't seen that nearly as much, but I guess it's possible.
I mean, it's completely dependent on your lineup. You need a scaling mid hero, right?
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
She's a cool hero for learning mid as well because it's actually pretty easy. Any melee matchup, you just max stagger and try to bully the shit out of them. And if it's a matchup where you're struggling to get last hits, you just put a couple points in Scream and use that to nuke down waves and farm out the jungle. And that's also fairly easy. And you just focus on rune control. That's the other thing. I love mid heroes that can control runes, dude. If you don't play mid and you have one of those games where you're mid and they don't put any effort into runes and you get every single power rune, it is some of the most broken shit imaginable. It really does feel stupid. You're just running around. Oh, look, I'm hasted. Oh, guys, I got an invis. Oh, a double damage? Well, I have to gag bottom with this. I feel like that's an underrated thing in lower tier pubs. Nobody thinks twice about power runes beyond stumbling onto them somewhat randomly when you're crossing the river, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think in like lower rank for sure. It's not a giant priority.
Yeah.
I guess Weaver might be one of those heroes right now, too. I think Queen of Pain's probably a little more fun than Weaver, though.
Yeah. But, I'm trying
Void Spirit.
I'm trying to come up with a good idea. Like, Jenkins and I were thinking about how to make content out of it because he's not with Dota Alchemy anymore, and he's doing some coaching sessions and some other stuff. So I'm like, dude, if we could make this, like, I saw Eric Neiman was doing something similar. He's been getting coached and Purge and maybe a couple others. He's been doing like the full rounds, which is pretty smart.
I mean, you could it's a pretty easy content piece. Like, not a lot of people do this as content. And I think if you guys did it on the Moondog channel, it'd be hilarious. Yeah. Like, it would be a good way to advertise Jenkins' services, basically, right?
Right.
Where the whole point would be like, you literally should just be like, I'm at my lowest MMR ever. That's exactly how I would sell it. I'd be like, all right, guys, I have lost.
Okay.
I've lost it all.
It's time to recover. I need to relearn a few things.
I'm calling in the reinforcements.
Although I did just watch one of his newer videos this morning. It was talking about how he's like, don't be a Dota boomer. Split pushing is not really a thing anymore. I think the changes to the glyph have really fucked up split pushing.
That's hilarious.
So he's like, you don't want to be the guy that is TPing back to stop split push.
That is such a fucking good point. It drives me crazy. I yell at so many people because of that. I say the same thing. I say, guys, look at this glyph. Like, the creep wave's gone. Stay for this fucking push. Just help me push the tier 3, please.
Dude, I personally threw a game doing that, and I knew it right away. As soon as I TP'd back, somebody hit the glyph, and I went, why did I do that? That was totally an old wiring. Like, oh my god, anti-mage is split pushing. I've got to go defend this. I'm the only one that can kill him. And I think we could have taken Rax and threatened.
We'll do it all the time still.
Yeah, it's hard to unlearn stuff that's that ingrained, but. The video also talked about when you're ahead, he said, it's a war of attrition. That is the style that wins Dota now. You hold the enemy triangle. TLDR, if you don't know where the fuck to be, you should probably be in the enemy jungle. That's
Actually, a guy in my pub was talking about this, and he said it's called Fort Knox. Jenkins talks about it.
Okay.
I don't know if he calls it that in that video, but one of the randoms in my pub was very excited about Jenkins videos.
Dude, he has really figured it out. They're catchy titles, and the way he breaks it down, they're the right length. It's dense information, but it's not long. It just starts. There's no
It's
bullshit.
that talent work, dude. It was
Yeah.
his biggest problem, and he asked me, like, he was like, "How did you guys just like get so good at this?" And like being concise is like, dude, just keep going. You're gonna be fine.
Practice, dude.
He's gotten so good.
Raw hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And he does most of those videos just like one take, dude. I think there's
Yeah.
some editing for the B-roll and shit, but it's pretty quick.
I'm
It's
glad that this
impressive.
podcast will now have a time stamp that just said Jenkins fucking rules.
Yeah.
Just make sure that's all it says, please.
Jenkins rules. Yeah, 20-minute mark. There you go.
But yeah, I think that'd be hilarious content.
Yeah. So we're thinking about it. We're trying to piece it together.
Dude,
He's
please,
sort of
please just stream for like hours on the Moon Duck channel doing this. I think it would be
Alright,
so
that's-
good.
I
People
mean,
would, I guarantee, watch that shit. Because I already told you, the whole thing about Dota community is they love to be negative and they love to make fun of someone.
Right.
And you don't give a shit. So
Right.
you sucking while Jenkins is trying to help you will be hilarious.
It's true. People do like to feel good. And that's part. So I've been streaming a lot more, partially because of lockdown and shit. And also, it's like, I feel like if I'm grinding Dota anyway, I might as well just turn on the stream. And it's been interesting to see, like, my viewers have grown a little bit. You know, at 1st you're averaging like 10 to 20, and you see that like 30 to 40. And now
Dude,
it's
I
like,
saw you with like 100 the other day.
yeah, it's like, yeah, 70 to 80. It gets up there. Timing is important in terms of people on
Oh,
our
of
team
course.
hosting
Yeah.
and shit. But I noticed that in North America, a lot of the streamers are just, it's like Mason type people. You know, it's
Yeah.
like classic NA Dota people playing try hard top tier pubs. And that content is good, but there isn't a lot of like, I don't like sing kind of content comes to like the purely entertainment streams. I don't
Yeah.
see as many of those in NA. So that's what I've been trying to embrace. And most of the time I'm just interviewing my teammates. And one advantage to the Archon bracket and one way to trigger what you're talking about is just ask your teammates to call the game. Say, guys, it's 20 minutes. What should we do right now? And hear their strategies, because some of them are fucking hysterical. Hearing the flames, like I had a mid-faceless Void that was yelling at me for going position 3 Viper. If you had a real fucking offlaner right now, we'd be winning this game. I'm like, buddy, you're a mid-Void. You're farming the jungle right now, pal. It's like these kind of moments where if I weren't streaming, I'd think I'm crazy. But getting to see the reaction in Twitch that where they're like, wow, holy shit, these people are real. It's actually pretty fucking funny. And I'm so low that people don't believe that I'm me in the game. So
Makes
like
sense.
that's
I
not the
believe it.
real Zyori. They think that it's like a soundboard or something. And it's not until they look at my profile and see the trove and then they're like, oh shit.
They're so kind.
Yeah. Yeah. But
He can't be this bad, can he?
exactly. It's like, now when they say, is that the real Zyori? I just say, unfortunately. Yeah, it is. So it's been interesting though. It's been fun, but I have felt a little demoralized. And not that I feel like I should be winning every game, but
Yeah.
you know, it is nice to see like even just a slight positive trend over time. Yeesh. I'm gonna
That's
play some
okay.
games after the podcast today, and now I've got like MMR anxiety. I'm like, all right, every loss now is literally the lowest I've ever been, even more. So we're due for a win streak, boys.
Yeah, but I mean, really, who cares?
Nobody.
It's so
I
hard
know
to
it's
say that to
stupid.
yourself.
I know it's stupid. It's purely
but
vanity.
It is. It's vanity, but like I don't know, Dota just for fun. You know, you
Yeah.
enjoy playing Dota. It's okay.
I think if I weren't a caster, and if I was just an enthusiast, I really wouldn't care as much.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I could play like Bernie, where I go in, buy whatever the fuck I want, feed, and when the game's over, just be like, y'all are fucking dumb, boys. Woo-hoo-hoo! We're playing another. Like, who gives a shit? It's all in good fun. But it's my job, so I do care a little bit. It bugs me a little when people ask what my MMR is, and I'm embarrassed to say the number. I
That's
would
fair.
much prefer reality where that number is something I can be a little bit proud of. I look at like OD Pixel, for example. I look at Lyrical and go, they all did it. They were all garbage tier Archons that buckled down and grinded up to a respectable, ancient, divine, what have you.
Do you know how they both did it?
Darkseer and
They
Faceless
went
Void.
platinum with one hero. They just played the same hero over and over, like Jenkins said.
All right, so here's another.
Lyrical story, by the way, is so fucking 10 out of 10. Like, he literally just watched the pro games. Like, when the first Darkseer games were coming out, he was like, I'm going to do that. because everyone was just cutting the off lane with Darkseer, pulling it to the camp, and like not many people were doing it in pubs really. Like it would happen occasionally, but definitely not where he was starting. And that's all he did for like months. Is play Darkseer, and his win rate was insane. Like it wasn't even just a pure grinding factor. It was just he did it relatively fast because of how many games he won doing that.
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
I do think there's something to be said for the both of them have their merits. Spamming Faceless Void is great. You're playing a hero that really does control the fate of the game in most circumstances. You have the ability to bring back these crazy, horribly one-sided games when the other team fucks up just once. I get it. And wasn't there a whole thing with Owen where the moment he started buying BKB, his win rate jumped by like 15% or something?
It was also when Void was insanely broken.
Okay. That helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
It was like right when he got buffed because Blitz made the bet with him, and like a month later, after Owen had started losing, suddenly Faceless Void got super buffed, and they like doubled the time lock damage in Chrono.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I remember the one time I actually tried to grind MMR because I was pretty low because I calibrated like 33, I think. I don't remember when Dota first came out, and then I played a long time with all my friends and stuff, and I wound up somewhere around like 4K, and I was like, I want like actual like decent high MMR before like TI 6 or 5 or something. I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
I just played a shitload of Tiny. I just played the same hero over and over, and I just played Tiny, and spamming a hero gives you such a good sense of like Dota because it's the same way with any game. It's because it takes away a part of your brain that you need to worry about. Right? That's the whole reason why spamming hero is so good. Because Dota requires so much brain power and processing. You have to look at the state of the game. The last thing you want to be concerned about is your hero, right? Everything else you need to fucking worry about. It's like when you're playing a fighting game. The last thing you want to do is look at your character to think like, oh, where am I? Oh, what should I be doing at this distance? No, that stuff's got to be ingrained in you, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
what spamming does for you. Now you're reducing your variability in this factor of a win, right?
Yeah.
You want to be a constant. And that's what spamming does.
I think that makes perfect sense. It's the same kind of thing. I've noticed that playing Valorant and like starting to appreciate CSGO a little more. The mechanics of the game are very hard, but once you, quote, master the mechanics, then you can really dive deep into the strategy of like positioning and fakes and all these like really intense strats because you're no longer thinking about the mechanics as part of your like primary brain power. It's just automatic. You got the muscle memory. Yeah. And Dota heroes are so different. It makes perfect sense. It's sort of like how I feel with Dazzle. I play 2 games. It's like I don't really have to think about Grave. It's just robotic when I see low HP heroes. And
it's not even like what's funny about Dota is it's not even a role thing. Like I don't feel that way when I play any position 5 either. Like it has to be like Crystal Maiden or Witch Doctor or Disruptor where I can be just like totally not thinking about my hero in the slightest. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't have a lot of heroes that make me feel that way.
No, me neither. It's like kind of Witch Doctor, Dazzle. That's kind of it, actually.
Yeah.
Viper, I guess, at this point, since I've been playing it recently, But
yeah, I agree. You need to find that hero that you enjoy playing in a core role if you want to really start the grind.
Yeah.
Because you can grind as a support. I 100% agree with that, but I definitely agree that it will be faster and easier as a core player.
I think so, too. It is definitely possible as support. And I've had certain games where I can see it, where I'm playing 5 Witch Doctor, and our lane goes way better than planned, and you're kind of rolling, and you're like, I could have a 30-minute Ags Glimmer and maybe fucking carry this game right now. My carry ain't doing shit, but I'm going to do a lot of damage if they don't interrupt me. There are certain games, like CM, I've had games like that where you get a Blink BKB, and it's like, they don't have anything to stop this. I'm doing a lot of damage. It's the other key thing that I learned from Jenkins is he has told me this many a time. He's like, dude, you have thrown more games to high ground than any person I've ever met in my entire life. And I think he's completely right.
Dude, you are so bad for that.
I don't know what it is.
I watch your games all the time. And you definitely do that.
I've always done that, and the problem
you know what? I'll tell you what it is. It's not a high ground thing. Your problem is that you never like resetting before the next objective. You're always obsessed with like, all right, we won this fight, but you can't just take Roche. You need to like take Roche and this tower and plant 3 wards.
Yes.
That's what happens every time.
Yes. It's like the two.
High ground's a symptom of that. But
yes.
It's everything.
That's a good way to put it. And I've gotten a little bit better at the reset thing, but I think the high ground specifically, that mistake has gotten punished harder over time, and now
Yes.
it's punishable more than ever, especially with the glyph changes. Obviously with buybacks, the line I tell my team now is like, guys, they bought back 2. It's 7 versus 5. Fucking run. And
Yeah,
that
that one's good.
actually it does work more often than not. It gets people to kind of go, oh shit, that's an interesting way to think about it. But Jenkins said like it's just hold the triangle. If you own the vision on the triangle, play to human psychology, they will eventually get bored and come out of the base. You got 2 options here. Either they come out of the base and have to walk up the high ground in fog where you can just fuck them up immediately and get the initiation, or they literally sit in the base and you control all the outposts and all the bounties, and within 10 minutes you can like double or triple your lead. Like either one is a win. You compare either of those to going high ground, and high ground is a stupid amount of risk in comparison. He's like, that's just, don't be a fucking Dota boomer, you old cunt. And
That is a Dota boomer move.
yeah, so I'm learning here. I think I am hanging on to some of my like, well, back in 2014, this was how I grinded MMR. Facebook.
God, that split push thing is so true, dude.
It really
I
is.
can't get over how true that is.
And every time I see somebody TP back, it reaffirms that, like, holy shit, we just, yep. It's amazing how well it still works. The anti-mage effect, if you will.
Oh, I had something I wanted to ask you. Have you looked at the collector's cash sets?
I got to pull them
You
up.
voted?
Oh, it's like the 150 sets to vote. So
Yeah.
it was an overwhelming amount of sets. I did vote on some. I clicked through it, but by like 30, I was a little burned out of staring at sets and felt like I couldn't even. Can you give me the top few? Like, is there there needs to be a better model for this. It's too much data for the average person.
Oh, I
to go
definitely
through.
agree. I was just curious if there were any that you were just like, whoa. I did notice that bony, tiny one was in. I got excited about that. I found a lot of them looked like older sets. There's one really cool Witch Doctor set, the number 11 one. That was really nice. It was like it's got he's got like little dolls hanging with creepy faces. Nice.
I think I might
Big
have
fan.
seen that one. I don't know. So this is like a free content piece here, folks. Somebody needs to do like a highlight article.
Oh, I'm sure Sunsfan already did.
Well, I saw Sunsfan tweet something like, vote for my sets. And I intended to until I got into the client and went, well, how do I have to click through all
It
150?
does say creators on it.
Yeah, but I clicked through 30 of them and didn't find Sunsfans. They're in random order. So, like, there's no way to just find the Sunsfans ones.
I actually, they're random. Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks, Archie. That kind of makes sense, actually. Good idea, Valve.
Yeah, because obviously it would skew the data if whoever's got an A name is going to come up first or
That's
whatever.
genius. Well, my rule of thumb for this was I only voted based on their in-game preview. That's how I played this one,
Okay.
which I thought was a really nice thing to have down there.
All right. That's
So I looked at the in-game preview, and if that gave me a yes, then I looked at the whole thing, and if I still liked it, I gave it a thumbs up. So I was very selective this time. I'm trying to get only the best sets in, guys.
Okay. All right. I did it pretty haphazardly. While I'm in queue, I just kind of click through and go, I like this hero. I don't like this hero. I like this set. I don't like this set.
There was a Waspy Tinker, too, along with the Dark Willow one. That one also looked really cool.
Yeah, I feel bad. Not much is standing out. I
I
almost
still,
feel a little burned out of Dota cosmetics. I have trouble getting
Yes.
excited for them because I have a couple heroes where I already like the set that I have. Like my Dazzle is very much in that juggernaut state of, I mean, if you already have the Dazzleator, the Dark Star, and the Pipe of Dezen and shit, I don't know what else you'd ever want.
Yeah, I hear that.
So, I don't want to
But,
sound like a hater, but I just, yeah. I
don't
can't
know.
decide if I want the Quap Arcana. It does seem pretty cool. What is it, like 435?
Dude, if I just clicked to see if I wanted it right now, I'd have to pay $400 I'd have to pay $200 to get to level 465.
What level are you? Like 10?
I'm level 100.
Oh,
I'm 101.
I'm like 270. So I'm right on the cusp of what's the order of the Arcanas? I know Anti-Mage is next for me. I should be able to unlock AM at like, is it 305, something like that? Is Wind Ranger after that, and then it's Quap, or does Quap come before Wind Ranger?
Animage Persona's 305. The Pudge is first at 256-ish, it looks like. I'm just like clicking through. Then Wraith King's 375, and then Queen's 445. Wind Ranger's 575.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had the order wrong. All right.
I mean, that's going to be the determining factor for me. is the Wind Ranger Arcana. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Although I don't think I'm gonna go there this year. I don't think I can do it. It's
I
too
mean,
much
that's
money.
yeah, I would feel the same. That's where like I wanted the second double down that was at 260. That was kind of what I bought towards, but I was also in that like you start looking at that realm like Pudge is 255, the AM's 305. I'm tempted at the Wraith King. The 375 might be achievable for me. And that's the same as the Quap. Ah, God, it feels like such a value breakpoint. They really thought about the psychology of this shit.
Oh yeah.
Like
No,
they bait
know.
you, and then you get close enough that you're like, yeah, but 375 based on my sunk cost, the value.
Yeah, but as Neonzi said, it's all about the bundle, right?
Yeah,
That's what gets you.
I'll probably wait until the discount and then get up to 375. I have a feeling it's going to work on me. I will not go for Wind Ranger though. 575 is too much, and I'm not going to go for the Aegis. I thought about it. I was cleaning some shit out and hanging up some of my knickknacks and went, fuck knickknacks.
My knicky knackies. Yeah.
I seriously, dude. I don't know. The fact that it's TI-10 is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's just I've got other memorable shit. I got cool collector's Dota items. I don't need that shit. It's not worth the money. I can get cooler shit for free at events. 1,000 is a lot. I don't know. I have trouble justifying that level of expenditure. Can you write that off? I know you like. My accountant has told me I could write that shit off, but it feels excessive at a point. Can you write off the 1,500?
I don't think so.
I think Purge told me his accountant recommended writing it off because it's. I mean, maybe it's different for him because he streams, but it's that same idea of you're using it as basically as part of a set for your broadcast. And if that makes you look cooler to build your audience, you could call that advertising.
I could see that, yes.
But you're not really a streamer, so I don't know if it
well,
works
I
the
could
same.
be for that.
Yeah. It's an interesting argument, and I don't. To me, it's enough of a gray area that is probably worth the risk. But yeah, it's a gray area. You're right
stream
enough.
a lot.
Video games. I mean, do you have trouble drawing that divide of like playing Dota is fun? But it also is work-related. It's not a complete, like, hey, babe, can you deal with the kids? I'm going to go outside and play basketball for a little while. I mean,
yeah,
you
that's
are...
pretty much how we discuss it, is that she is very understanding. Like, she knows that, like, because I've told her all the same stuff where I'm just like, I really need to just play some Dota because right now I do not feel that passionate about watching these games. And I need to, like, play Dota right now. She's like, yeah, okay, I get it.
I need some juice. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go do some shit.
Yeah. There's a balance there for sure. It oscillates, right?
I don't find playing Dota to be like my job. I don't really consider pubs, especially like at the point I'm playing right now, like, Ancient to Divine. That's not that relevant for pro games. It's good for just like feeling out the meta and stuff, sure. But if I really want to work at my job, I just watch a bunch of replays.
Yeah. You're right. That's definitely primary. And it's the same with me. Like, I feel like after day one of a tournament, I have a much better handle on what the pro meta is like. But I find playing I need for patches. It's how I digest some of those patch notes where I read the numbers, and
yes,
I'll be honest, the numbers don't really mean that much. I read them like I can understand it, but I just have to kind of play it and go, oh, okay, this changes this timing. Oh, okay, this is where we used to be able to do a high ground push, and now I've failed it 4 games in a row. Shit like that just, I feel like, helps me tell the story a little better because I have at least some empathy for the change.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you can get a feel for some hero matchups too, like the hard counters. If you ever play Razor versus Alchemist mid, shit like that, you don't have to be a pro to understand the mechanics there.
It's good for reaffirming things that you think should be true. Like if a pro tells you, oh, this hero beats this hero, then you play it, and then you should be able to understand why by doing it. You should not draw your own conclusions from your gameplay. You should just try and build off of conclusions from other pros and try and reaffirm like why it is that way to better your understanding.
Yes. I think that's a really good way to describe it for sure.
Tell you one thing, man. I got a lot of whales on my friends list. I understand the battle pass when I see how many people on my friends list are already above 1,000, and it's not even the bundle.
Yeah,
that's insane to me.
So, like, doesn't that go back to what we were talking about in the pre-show a little bit? How you look at the trends on Twitch in terms of viewer count relative to subscribers. And
Yes.
Dota is this crazy anomaly. Like, Dota is its own thing. We are not really part of esports the same way the other esports are. We are not part of just gaming at large the same way all these other genres are on Twitch. We are our own bubble, and people that aren't part of Dota, when I talk to them, go, "Oh, you work in Dota? Wow, that's one of those really hard esports to get into. How'd you get started there? Dota's cool, but I don't really... It seems really hard to get into. You know, we
Very
are
intimidating.
we are in a box, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's our greatest strength and also our greatest weakness. And I think some of that effect has to be because where our community spends the money is towards TI for these kind of items, and that has an opportunity cost in terms of how much people are willing to shell out for subs.
I liked there was a tweet by Melk actually just yesterday, I think he said, where it was during the PlayStation reveal. If you guys saw, PlayStation had their big, like, essentially their E3 equivalent announcement update, announcing everything for the PlayStation 5 coming out in the near future.
Mhm.
Pretty crazy announcements, a lot of beautiful looking games. And Melk just tweets, I don't understand everyone who can like this. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, like, I don't understand how everyone can be like so excited about all these games and like they're so excited because they've played all the other ones. Like, how do people have this much time to just play every single new game that's going to come out? And someone just replied like, "Well, I don't think they spent 20,000 hours in Dota." Like, oh yeah, guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I empathize with that 100%. I just broke my 10,000 hour mark and having Dota 2 open. And, you know, that obviously doesn't count like when you're not logged in and you're watching it events on someone else's preview monitor or something. But yeah, I feel that same way as other games come out. Like, I just don't have the bandwidth. There's a new PoE league coming out in a week, and I'm like, I can't go hard on both. I got to make a compromise. I'll play a little PoE. I'll play a little Dota. I think we've got a casting gig that starts in like 3 days. Did they announce that yet?
No, do we have a schedule yet?
So I have a schedule of the event, but I don't have a schedule of which games we're supposed to be casting.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's supposed to start June 15th. Yikes. Is that on Liquipedia? Are there teams confirmed for this?
Yeah, it's on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna be casting some Epicenter games. Don't tell anyone.
Yes. Is this it? Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how much we're covering, but we're covering some of it. Wait, no. No, that's not what we're casting. We're doing the it's the Pro Series.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
I thought you said we were doing Europe. Are you sure?
Actually, now I'm not sure. I looked at the
you're
doc.
wrong.
Well, the doc that he linked me isn't labeled. It just says league draft schedule. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well,
but
here, let me ask you a question. Are the first games on June 15th at 9 a.m. Atlantic?
is that 14 CEST?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So it must be that. All right, I think you're right. All right, we are doing the Beyond Epic. Fuck, dude. Ugh. Well, I hope at least. I haven't been given overlays yet.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
But yeah, there's not enough hours in the day, you know, and it is one of those things. It feels normal to us, but most gamers aren't as obsessed with one game the same way we are. I think even with League of Legends, I think there's probably a little more
dude, it's so
variety.
much more casual for sure.
Yeah, compared to the dotards that are just like Dota. I watch Dota, I eat Dota, I play Dota.
I don't have any. The number of people I've seen that have Dota and Counter-Strike in their Steam and that's it is very high, especially amongst people like at LAN and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when we were at Midas Mode, I saw a lot of them like loading up their Steam and they had like 5 games. And I am like Slacks will often send me questions when he's doing random stuff with Valve or whatever. He'll be like, "Yo, Trent, you're the only person who actually plays a lot of games. Can you tell me about these random developers?" And it's like he also plays a lot of random games too.
Yeah.
But they're like I have a gargantuan Steam library and I play a lot of games. I love playing indie games. Big fan.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just play Dota.
Yeah, I've known that about you, and I am the total opposite. I didn't use Steam until Dota was a thing. Dota was the only thing I had on Steam for years. Then I bought a couple games on the summer sale for like a few bucks that I never played, the classic. And then I bought Counter-Strike, and I have slowly added a few more things. I play PoE through Steam, but that's mostly just because I like being able to clock the hours and see all my other Steam friends. But
Speaking of random indie games, by the way, there's an incredible bundle right now.
the
Which
bundle
all you
for
have to pay is
racial
$5.
justice.
Yeah, it's from itch.io. So itch.io, if you don't know, is basically like a Steam equivalent, but it's more so centered around indie games. They don't take as large of a chunk,
Oh.
but it also has like software and stuff on there too. But there are some insanely good games in this bundle. You can just get Celeste right now for PC for $5. And Celeste is like one of the best platformers you'll ever play.
So
it
you
also
pay
has a short hike, which I love too.
you pay $5 and get all these games?
Yes.
How does that work?
All the developers agreed for a charity to like submit games, and everyone gets all of these games for as little as $5.
Oh, okay. So it's I see the thing now. So it's all for charity. So all the
Yes.
money goes to some racial justice and equality thing. Okay.
And it's like a
Ah.
crazy amount of games.
Wow. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, how does anybody make money off this? That's a lot. It's like what, 50 games or something?
It's 1,000. It is.
1,000?
It's 1,637 items, various games,
What?
game assets.
What?
Yeah,
It says they're this many. It's normally $9,000 for all these games. And
yeah.
you get 'em all-
Octodad's in there. I mean, there's like completely random games. You start scrolling through, and you're like, "Oh, I've seen that game. Oh, I know that game." Nuclear Thrones in here.
Dude, this is insane.
I kind of want to just start streaming a bunch of these, to be honest. I think it'd be really funny.
I kind of feel like they should have charged a little more money, and maybe they could have raised like this. Isn't this too good of a deal?
I mean, they've already raised $5.5 million.
I guess that's the angle. Like they make it such a good deal that there's just you can't make an argument to not buy it, so
Yeah.
everybody buys it.
Pretty much.
I think you could have made that same argument with $10 though. Like,
Yeah, I would agree.
there's a $10,000 value for $5.
Guys, you're never gonna beat this deal. Yeah, there's lots of old games on there. Nothing wrong with old games, though, guys.
That is insane. Wow.
Yeah.
That is another level of charity. I'm like blown away right now.
But yeah, I'm not even joking. That it is 100% worth it simply for a short hike and Celeste. 2 games I have played, love them both, very excellent.
Huh.
And I also want to play Overland too, because this game looks dope as well.
Wowzers.
So yeah,
So, speaking of shutdown shit, do you think now? I'm curious what your pulse is at. All right, so it is June 12th right now. All right,
I'm ready.
2020. Ti supposed to be in what, like exactly a month from now.
Yep.
If you were casting Ti, you would have left or probably be leaving around this time. I forget the exact date if they had ever even announced it for the group stage and stuff.
well, that makes me sad and very poor.
Now, still no update. Things are starting to reopen. Sweden never shut down. Is there a world where TI still happens?
No,
All right.
it's already canceled, isn't it?
What's the latest update? I thought we were still in limbo where Valve basically said we're watching it closely. We're keeping tabs on all sources. Stay tuned for updates. Has it been officially rescheduled 100% postponed?
I thought so.
I'm ready for a link.
It says,
it's
but
delayed,
it's
not
likely
canceled.
the event will need to happen in 2021. That's all they said.
Okay, so there you go. It was the likely it will need to be delayed to 2021.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that it happens in 2020? Maybe that's a better way to frame it. Are we feeling at all better about how the virus is rebounding and the global response? I mean, can't help but point out that one aspect of all these protests in America will be to see how severely that impacts the COVID-related situation, right?
What's
'Cause-
worse is that you had double protests. First, you had the reopening protests.
Yes.
And that'll be hitting around now because that was 2 weeks ago, and that's the what is it? What's it called? The period, what's the incubation period? That's the one.
Incubation period. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now in another 2 weeks, you're gonna be hit with another one.
Right. But it will be interesting to see how severe it is relative to what the projections were like to see, okay, were we reacting appropriately to how bad this thing was, or is it maybe a bit of an overreaction or even
I mean,
an
you can never
underreaction?
win. That's the worst part.
No,
dude.
I mean, you don't know
You
what you
can't
don't
win.
know.
It
But
would have been so much worse, like almost guaranteed to be like, see, it was completely so overblown. It's like, well, the only reason is because like everyone put in
Right.
these precautions. That's why it didn't get so.
Right.
I won't
it's like
strangle anyone.
that circular logic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this kind of, let's call it a social experiment in terms of lockdown orders being pretty much ignored and social distancing being ignored, very few things would have allowed us to do that, right? It had to be something really extreme to make it feel worth it to risk the potential health concerns. So now that we've done it, I am curious to see how big the uptick will be if we keep testing people, if we can trust the data. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who knows, man.
The
Yeah, I don't know.
WHO is fucking up hard, man. That's all I could say. Oof.
I don't want the border open anytime soon. Sorry, bud. You guys can chill down there. We're good.
Yeah. I did just book some plane tickets going back to Jersey next month.
Wow. Did ya?
Last night, Carlo and I are flying back for 4 days.
What's that cost right around now?
Direct flight to Philly, Southwest, round trip from Denver was $180.
Wow. That
Pretty
sounds
cheap.
pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap. That's like, I think the cheapest you can go is like $140, but that's like Frontier, where you get no bags and you got to sit like in the back of the plane like a bozo, and for a normal Southwest flight, it was like $175, $180.
Flying sucks.
Yeah. So I think this was a weird promo. I just remembered. It's middle seat only. It's not normal Southwest seating. So it's like discounted tickets, and you only get to sit in the middle seat. I thought that was value. I don't know. Fly to Philly. I don't give a shit.
You only get to sit in a middle seat? That's really funny.
Only get middle seat. Discounted tickets for middle seat only. It worked. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm so curious when events are going to start coming back again.
Yeah, I don't know. I look forward to it. I'll tell you that much. I miss LANs.
Me too.
LANs are a very positive force in Dota. They feel very good. They're fun to be at. Everyone there is having fun. It's nice meeting fans who just love Dota like we do, with this big community aspect.
And traveling's just a big part of my routine. It's like when I'm at home,
That's
I don't go out that much, and then when we travel, it's like 110% of going out. And so when you come back, you feel good going back into your little bubble in your space, but I don't want too much of either. There's a balance, and I don't know. I was talking to Slacks about trying to plan a future event. We came up with some ideas. I was like, "Hey, this is awesome. I'm going to make a budget." It's like, "Yeah, but we can't execute this until we know when we can start scheduling venues again." So, cool. All right. Talk to you in a month. It's like that kind of shit where it's finally getting to that point where I have all these ideas and we can't even start to, like, how do you pitch a sponsor? They're like, "Okay, well, I guess let us know when you can do something." Like, are the online events getting boring? How's the bounty event been for you? Have you been enjoying the content?
I've been a little bit too. I've been watching the replays, but I've watched some of the production. The production is extremely good. It's the best produced online event yet.
Yeah, 100%.
Not even close. Of course, the ESL ones are different. I don't consider them online in the sense that the talent are all there in LA, so it's like a normal looking LAN.
This
even
is
if the players
full
are online.
remote, and it looks almost like a news broadcast where they have the camera cuts and
It looks very good. Yeah,
the content
they did a really
fill
good job.
in between.
And they sent everyone backdrops, and they must have sent them headsets too because they have really nice headsets. I'm very jealous.
I reckon they probably did.
Yeah, those are like broadcast quality headset mics. They don't need the standing mic for like the good talk. So I'm pretty jelly right now.
Yeah. I haven't watched a huge amount of it either. I've been playing more than I've been watching Dota recently. I'm getting a little tired of watching regional Dota. I think the bounty stuff is a good way to switch it up. I'm very glad that they're in the space and giving us good content right now. But god damn, dude, there's something magical about being able to see that cross-regional Dota without ping being an issue and really getting to see, like, all right, how does China match up against Southeast Asia, against Europe, against seeing those South American upsets against these regional teams where they literally never play each other.
It doesn't help that Secret's absolutely destroying as well. Secret said they're going to take off July, I heard.
I mean,
so
what's the point right now? It looks like it's not even fun for them. They're rolling everyone. It's like Secret are playing pubs.
They're playing so good
weird
that PBD made a video because they lost one game.
Yeah.
And Thievin did the same thing because they lost that series to Viking GG. And it's like, oh, gonna make a video off this. It's like, oh my god, Secret lost. It's like, that's how much they're crushing everyone.
It's like, that sounds like a flame, and it's not. It's just, I see why it would be boring for them, and I think it just speaks to how online is just, it's not the same arena. And I don't know. I just can't help but compare everything to even what cross-regional minors are like. And every minor you and I have cast, the first half of it is just like, okay, here are the stomps. The number one team
Yeah.
at the minor looks so different from the bottom 3 teams at the minor. But it is still cool to see these regional matchups and see the players on LAN and get to interface with them. I'm just not that engaged in this kind of online Dota. I wish I were.
Yeah, it's hard to care.
Hats off to those that are. And it's a bummer that OG has looked so rough. Can we speak about OG? They dumped OG Seed because now...
Yeah, they had to.
So what's the big change now? You can't have sister orgs in the same tournament? Wasn't that the whole backbone of that?
The whole thing was, I think it was the ESL rule set specifically across all games don't allow the same org. So it was like a big CSGO thing, and now it's starting to be applied to Dota, from what I understand. So they can't play in the same ESL tournaments right now.
Makes sense.
And then now that everything's online, like there probably wouldn't have been that much conflict since they probably wouldn't have been a lot of the same tournaments with the LAN system because of the minors and the majors.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what they theorized. And so now they basically, in order to just keep playing the same tournaments, because as Peksu put it, we never planned to be a tier 2 team. You know, we want to be the best. So this doesn't allow us to do that, and OG agrees, and that's why we have to part ways.
Okay, I mean that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
I've always wondered about the kind of sister org or the B team, the OG Seed business model. Like aside from the rule set stuff. Does it make sense, like, hey, you and I are the owners of OG. We look at the finances. Would we say it's worth it to invest in a seed team? Because you have to pay those players' salaries and all that stuff. You think it was charity?
I think it's more goodwill and
like paying it back,
helping
so
the
to
scene.
speak. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's like a looking to make more money off of it. I think it's good promotion and marketing for OG as an org. I think it gives them a ton of benefits in that sense, but I don't think they were looking for a financial return.
It's not a revenue
off of that
stream.
org.
Okay. That's probably a good way to look at it. Yeah. I guess I would somewhat agree. I've always just questioned it from I think tier 2 teams in general are difficult. I've definitely gotten a little taste of like working with Bait, the challenges of starting a new team organization in the current climate. But I've done some consulting work with some true kind of like Singularity sized not them specifically, but that size organization where they're objectively like a tier 2 esports org. They don't have any tier 1 teams. They compete in a lot of games, but they get a lot of coverage, and you're in this weird niche where, you're cheaper than tier 1 teams for sponsors, but the drop off in reach and just general engagement is so extreme that it's a weird spot to be in. And I think it's really hard to be profitable and not like most of those businesses are just burning cash from investors on the concept of futures that, hey, if we invest now, 2 years from now, we could get a winning team in one of these games. And that's what we're rolling the dice on. And most of them are crapping out. Like very few of them are actually making it to this point where it's profitable. And I often wonder, like, is Secret a profitable organization?
It's gotta be, right?
I think so. And now this gets hinky of where depends on
where
how
does the prize pool go.
Exactly. How the orgs have it set up. Because if 90% of the prize pool goes right into the players' pockets, it could be pretty easy for all 5 of the players of Dota Secret to be very well off, but the organization to be struggling financially or to have racked up debt to pick up other teams or do various other activations. So it's alarming. I mean, who was the big CSGO team that came out and they were like, we're like 5 million in the hole on CSGO. And it's like, what? Aren't you guys like a tier 1 team? How's that fucking possible?
Astralis, I'm guessing.
I think it was Astralis. That was it.
Yeah, their financials are public apparently. They lose $6 million a year.
Yeah, that was it. Something like that. And it's just like, wow. As an outsider, not knowing that much about the space, I certainly wouldn't have thought it's that bad. That's extreme. So speaking of other news, dude, one of the last things I want to bring up here, since we've talked about NASCAR so much in past episodes, did you see the most recent, dude, NASCAR making waves, yo. Did you see the most recent news?
Oh, I did.
They banned the Confederate flag from NASCAR races. There will no longer be sanctioned Confederate flags. I don't think fans are even allowed to bring them in.
I think that's the whole point. Is that
it's
fans
a no-go.
can't bring them in.
Well, some of the races used to hang it up like with the flags along the racetrack too.
Oh, really?
I think so. I saw pictures of it at least. I don't know if those were from something else, but I think it's both. I think certain racetracks used to be pretty fucking into it. So part of the controversy, obviously, it's like an older audience, so I'm sure there are a vocal minority that are very mad about this. But one of the racers quit NASCAR supposedly in protest over this, and boy did he get flamed on Twitter because his record is 0-32. He's never won a race, never had a best lap. Like somebody posted his scorecard, and it was competed in 32 races and then all zeros in every other category. I'm just like, all right, see you later, bud. We're not gonna miss you.
Yeah, he was like the equivalent of a like tier 3 Dota player,
yeah.
where he was doing the NASCAR truck racing. I mean, which is cool and everything. It's like watching tier 3 Dota. It's the same thing. Like, sure, you can watch some cool games, but for the most part, it's kind of boring, and you're waiting until the tier 1 game starts.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but it would be like I'm trying to think of like an analogy that wouldn't be offensive. It's sort of be like, all right, no offense here. It's because I've met him in real life. It'd be like if Dota changed something like this that was a little bit political, and Sammy Boy was like, "I'm quitting Dota in protest." We'd be like, "Well, that sucks," but sorry, Sammy. I guess you have to find something else to do. There's just it's different from like if this was Jeff Gordon or some shit.
It's like Suns fan quitting if they made Legion Commander a woman, and not the man on the horse with a mustache that he really liked. That's it.
That's a better analogy. Sorry,
I'm
Sammy
done.
Boy. That made me laugh though, dude. I'm starting to appreciate NASCAR, dude. I don't know what it is. I still don't enjoy watching it, but we have a longtime fan subscriber that hangs out in the Sniff Central Discord, and he is a legitimate NASCAR fan, and he's like our thought leader. We've got a wrestling ambassador and a NASCAR ambassador. It's quite the eclectic group in there.
Those are the two sports I could just never get behind.
I want to go to a race though. I need to go to a NASCAR race and just experience this shit, dude. I need to understand what I'm missing because I don't know. Apparently one of the cool things is that you can show up with a radio and you can just tune to the different team frequencies and get the whole scoop on what the teams are doing. And that is
strategy
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah, that is cool. I have to admit. I guess it's cool if you're into it. I mean, I guess I'd sit there just I don't even know what they're talking about. They use code words and stuff, right? So it's all public frequency. But
I used to go to motorcycle races every summer. We used to go to the racetrack for like 4 or 5 days when I was a kid in the summer, and we would basically have a camp spot like in the middle of the track, like everyone does, and watch various events. It would be like mostly like antique motorcycles, but also super cycles and stuff. And it's more like an F1 track with like hairpin turns and it was sick. I really liked it. He used to like take the camera and like take photos of them and like time them like a stopwatch. We'd like time the car going by, and then when the guy was coming back on his lap, we would hold up the card showing his time, and then he'd give us a thumbs up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's kind of cool. Very
it was
interactive.
good shit.
Very interactive. Have you seen this YouTube channel, All Gas No Brakes?
No.
It's pretty good. It reminds me of if Slacks made content in real life but not Dota. It's becoming more popular. He only has like 12 videos or something, and it's basically modern day journalism where he just goes to these events and interviews people. Like Slacks. And his interview style is he barely says anything. He just lets people talk, and the edits are very Slacksian. They're like a lot of zooms. It's a lot of quick cuts.
I'm watching one now.
And his model, he has like 9,000 subscribers on Patreon. And his Patreon only has one tier for $5. So he's basically doing Twitch subs through Patreon where he gets a much better cut. And all of his videos, they're pretty digestible. They're like 10 minutes or so. The full uncut content is available on the Patreon. And if you watch a couple of his videos and like it, they always end on a little bit of a cliffhanger that make you go, I kind of want to see this full video. I kind of want to see where this train wreck started and how it ended. I want to see the 2 hours of raw footage or whatever it is. It's fucking genius, dude. This guy is blowing up. He was just at the
top comment. It's like interacting with GTA pedestrians.
Is that the Minneapolis Minnesota
no, this is
protest?
A night in Las Vegas.
Oh, that one's pretty wild. Yeah, it's one of the best comments I saw was like it's as if this is the Eric Andre show, except the interviewer is completely normal and everyone else is absolutely ridiculous. That's like the best way I can describe it. His most recent video was pretty wild. He went to the Minnesota riots. He was like inside the burning Target interviewing people that were looting. It actually pretty wild shit. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned that he was there in it. And just doing the same thing where he's just walking around like putting the microphone in front of people as they're stealing shit. It's kind of wild. And it's, like it or there's a comment on that video that was like, no matter where you fall on the political spectrum, love it or hate it, you have to admit that this is pretty impressive journalism. You know, where he's like actually there getting the scoop. And there's a spot where he sees a news reporter person, like the truck with the camera, and he's filming a burning building with no context.
I'm going through it right now.
And he walks up to the interviewer and he tries to interview the camera guy of like, hey, have you talked to any people on the ground? He's like, no. Why would we do that? He's like, are you allowed to talk to people on the ground? He's like, yeah. So why don't you go talk to the people on the ground? And the guy's like, I'm really busy right now. Can you fuck off? And he's like framing the shot of this burning building. It's pretty wild, man. I'm becoming a fan of this all gas, no brakes guy. He's not even on Twitter either. This guy has the good sense to get off Twitter.
He's a genius.
He's taking the Twitch sub model and just putting it on Patreon where he gets like, what, a 90% split or some shit? Unbelievable. He's got 9K Patreon subscribers right now. And supposedly when he's got stretch goals. When he breaks 10K, he says they're going to go international and start covering stories internationally. I think right now he lives in a van and they just drive around to capture these stories. It's wild.
I am so impressed right now. I can't even believe it.
That was me last night. I was in the Discord like, yo, guys, I am like rethinking life decisions right now. This dude is, it's like, I don't know. I'm like, wow, I want to go do this. I want to go do on the scene journalism. This looks fucking awesome. And like, he's making decent money now. I bet his cost to make that shit are pretty. I will say the editing is very good. Whoever is editing those videos is
Yes.
not a slump. They understand how to make it engaging and how to leave you hanging. But
Ralph's pointing out he might be getting a show on TV though. Like that's the money in TV is one of those things that just blows my mind every time I start getting into those numbers. That's a whole different world.
yeah,
Like,
but
you start getting paid a decent chunk in esports, you're like, yeah, man, this is awesome. I'm like making some real money. Then you hear what fucking TV people make, and you're like, wait, what?
yeah.
TV, you can work like a year and you're done.
And
You know what I mean?
what's
Like,
also
this guy gets a decent deal. He could just be retired.
right, and what's insane is look at his YouTube channel. It's quality over quantity. So much of our current model now is like more is better. You know, Twitch is sort of like that. The more hours you stream, the more money you make, the more videos you upload, the better it is for your channel. He's just making content when it makes sense. Every video is good, and every video has 1 million+ views. That's pretty genius, and that's leverageable, right? You could go to Netflix or any TV channel and be like, guys, look at this shit. I haven't had a miss yet. Why would you not want to get on this? I've got the demographic you desperately need, and I bet they are throwing money at this guy. Fucking genius.
I can't believe he went to a flat Earth conference. Dude, these are so good.
The Flat Earth Conference, there's a lot of rappers in a lot of the videos. He's really good at attracting people that like to rap for some reason. The Florida one
gang.
is also really weird. But yeah, the Flat Earth is great. There's a scene where somebody's just like, this is really great. I really appreciate you coming here and, not making fun of flat earthers. And you see his face in the background just smirking like, yes, I am not making fun of you right now, sir. Please continue. Like, it's top tier shit. I have legit content envy of this guy.
Yeah, this is his monetization is so smart.
It's perfect.
I'm so jealous right now. The idea of no Twitter just blows my mind, but I just instantly I know that makes so much sense for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you go to his
the only
YouTube.
way for me to get this guy is to go to his Patreon.
Yep, it's YouTube and Patreon. That's it. You go to his YouTube. There's no extra there's no website. There's
nothing. There's just his Patreon linked.
That's it.
This is what's written under a video with 2.362 million views.
Yep.
It just says, some undercover reportage from the 2019 Flat Earth Conference. Full episode / uncut content here. Patreon. Boom. That's it.
Unbelievable. Insane. And the genius of not building your Patreon like some sort of glorified Kickstarter. Where it's like, give me $1,000 a month and I'll send you private access to it. It just... Nope, $5. It's like it dummy proofs it. It's easy. It doesn't have different tiers. Doesn't have entitled people who are like, but I paid 5 times as much as this person, and I didn't get 5 times the. It's a Twitch sub. That's it.
Wow.
Unlock the content.
Smart guy. Good for this guy.
Phew.
Color me extremely impressed.
So now I want to take Slacks to a NASCAR race. I think he did an episode that's a piece about in Daytona at a race. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. Talladega, I believe.
Yeah, it's hey.
I think actually a Smash commentator started doing this exact same content.
Really?
Yeah,
like at Smash events.
I wonder if this is how he got inspired. But his name's EE, and he did a He went to a Trump rally and he did the same thing. He just started like interviewing people.
No way. He's doing just like real life shit like that.
Yeah, literally exactly what you're talking about. He went and did that.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, so I lied. He does have he has an Instagram,
All right, fine.
but it's just marketing for the YouTube.
But yeah, he did a 15-minute video where he went to a Trump rally and he just asked them questions about like Smash Bros characters, which is like different, obviously, than like letting them talk. But I wonder if he was kind of inspired by this idea
Huh. Me too.
because it's like right around the same timing.
Dude, he is like last night when I refreshed his channel, did he go up like 30 subs in the last 24 hours? There's no way. I think this dude is actually going viral because of the Minneapolis video. I'm pretty sure he
Makes
had like
sense.
560K subs last night when I was looking at his channel before bed.
I mean,
And
he's
now
at
it says
9.2K Patreon now.
he went up 100 Patreon. He was at 9.1 yesterday.
He's almost another there. Yeah, I want a big hand, big clap to Grant. By the way, I tuned in last night for some of that stream. Hilarious. Grant raising a ton for the Live Proud, I believe. Event from EG.
Oh yeah, I saw that on
big round of
Twitter.
applause. Grant had to play a solo ranked game. I think he was Razor. I tuned in and all I heard him say was, "All right, you guys were right. I should have bought the Yules, but it's okay." He's trying to kill TH. He just TP. And Grant was like, "What?" It was good.
That's
Yeah, it was
I
very enjoyable
empathize with
stream.
that. I feel like that's how my streams go mostly. I'm like, Twitch chat, what should I buy? Cool. And then I do something else like, okay, you guys were right. BKB was smart. Yeah, you got to pander to your audience though. That's it. See, Grant is a man of the people. He knows. It's all a setup.
Yeah, he had to. Oh wait, you actually reached the Grant Plays Techies? Damn, dude. I think I was in bed at that point.
Oh,
That's
shit.
awesome. Yeah, he had to play a solo rank game of Techies.
Yikes.
What a
The
legend.
only thing that would have made that better is if Slacks was coaching him.
I don't think Grant can handle that. I don't think I can handle that.
Me neither. What I really want is a Grant Slacks podcast, but I don't have enough money to make it happen. I think
Is
that
that what
content
you want?
would be too dank for the internet.
I
Yeah.
think that would. Yeah,
I could
don't think
sell
anyone
that,
can handle
dude.
that.
If we got a Grant Slacks podcast, we got a Suns Fan Cinderin podcast, and a Trent Ziori podcast, Moonduck's just becoming a podcast network at that point. I could sell that shit. There's a certain point where we've got a corner on the market here. There's not much else. I guess there's a couple other Dota podcasts out there, but not as many. That's something else other games have a lot more of.
What, podcasts?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a surprisingly low number.
Dota's pretty light. I guess are Breaky and BSJ still doing that podcast? They were for a while. I don't know if it's still keeping up though.
Yeah, Breaky BSJ have one. Daniel often has one.
Yeah. Is he still doing that? I feel like I haven't been seeing
Position 6? Yeah,
tweets
he
about
just
it.
released a couple more, yeah.
Okay.
Cap and Leaf Eater have one. Shiver and Kyle have one that's every once in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen an episode from that.
And there's definitely another one that I'm not thinking of. There's a couple smaller MMR ones that are still around. Obviously, there's Sunsfan and Sind.
Yeah.
What was it? The Glimpse? I don't know if they're still on.
I think so. That dude, Adam something or other, he tweets at me. He's the guy that gave me the GSL group stages suck or whatever. That was a nice gift. That's a smart idea. Give your guests a gift. I'm too lazy.
All right, so those are what, April 24th? Yeah, they've had one pretty recently.
Okay. It's harder. There without events like the live events, it's definitely a little bit harder to do consistent content. So
Yeah, then the Haas one. I haven't seen that one in a while. I feel like they haven't been doing the rivalry one that often right now.
No. I mean, Slacks has been doing content with Dendy. It feels like that has sort of replaced the past efforts
Yes.
from Rivalry. And
Dude, Slacks is all over that shit.
Yeah, dude. He's
They
grinding.
got a lot of content being pumped out from the Slacks guy. He had Jack too doing voice lines. He had Dendy doing voice lines.
Did you see Mr. Midas on the bounty event?
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Did it
No.
get clipped on Reddit, folks? I actually didn't watch it, but I knew that it was happening before it happened. I've been sort of drifting away from it. I don't want to appear salty, so I haven't really been engaging with it.
Did
Somebody-
Slacks do it?
He did it. Yeah, he did it. He was like a character on the whole thing. I think they hired him as
Did he
talent.
did
and
he
stuff.
mock them or something?
I think so. I think it was. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but I think that was the whole angle.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mr. Midas, kind of.
Good guy slacks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a little weird.
I'm trying to find it now, but I can't.
It's a little weird. It's like Dota is this space that you work in, and you have to kind of accept that you don't really own anything that you're making. And that is a really hard thing to digest as a content creator, because you do sort of own some of the stuff that you make, but we don't own Midas Mode the way that you would in any traditional business sense from like an investor perspective. Same with like Path of Guardians, right? It's the same thing we've talked about with the Suns fan game. It's a really cool concept, but you don't own it. You know that you're making this thing that is in someone else's sandbox. They own the sandbox entirely, and you're basically an ant relative to the size of the sandbox. And Midas Mode might have been a slightly larger ant to some degree, but it's all within Valve's ecosystem. So watching someone else come in and kind of take the idea and maybe do it slightly better, and then kind of be like, hey, could we leverage that thing that you guys created to make our thing look better? And kind of feeling obligated to go, yeah, sure, why not? Because like, what are you drawing a line in the sand for? What are we being combative over? It's not a good thing. It's not like we want to divide the community of like Midas Mode versus the bounty hunter event or whatever it's called. Like you have to, we're all on the same team, and sometimes that requires sacrifices from a purely selfish quote business perspective, if that's a fair way to put it. It's just a weird space to operate in sometimes, and the Dota TV broadcast rights are a big part of that.
It's funny because there's all these like unwritten rules. Like, it's shocking that there have been really no other Captain's Draft tournaments. Like, is everyone too scared to do a Captain's Draft tournament?
Yes. I can say, like, in 2014 at BTS, we wanted to do a Captain's Draft show match, and we were too afraid to do it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's not even like a company owns it. Suns Fan basically owns Captain's Draft.
Yeah.
Like, if someone tried to do one without Suns Fan, there would be hate. Well, no. Actually, let me rephrase it. I actually don't think there would be hate. I think it would go over completely fine, but people are too scared to do it. I personally don't think there would be a problem.
There would be a little bit. It's sort of the optics of it, right? It's all about how you present it. Right? The Blast guys were pretty smart. They saw immediately the amount of posting about Midas Mode and how it was being ripped off, so they immediately came up with a strategy to try to amend that and make Mr. Midas part of the content. So I think it's all about the messaging with shit like that. If you came out just as, if your response was, fuck Midas Mode, they don't own jack shit, then, it's just going to rally people even more. So it depends how they went about doing Captain's Draft. And I think people are nervous about getting that messaging right, and it just seems like it's too risky. But you're absolutely
it's not
right.
the first reaction you want to your tournament. That's true.
Yeah. But it is weird. Like any event you do, through the Dota TV stuff, it's like, hey, part of this event we're just giving away for free to the community, and you have to be okay with that getting into the event. And if you're not okay with it, then you probably shouldn't be running events in Dota. That's part of what isolates us. We are team Dota through and through. The community kind of comes first.
Another part of that is like this whole Twitch Rivals thing, which we haven't even talked about in the broadcast.
Dude, I forgot about that.
I completely forgot about that. But that is like the perfect example of why we're such a fucking bubble.
Yeah.
Like how, to someone to come in and make that NA event versus the European event, that the fact that gets greenlit is just like, clearly they have no fucking clue what Dota is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who okayed that EU event? You look at that and you go, I'm not gonna watch this. This looks terribly boring. Who would want to watch someone just get 3-0'd that hard?
No, I don't know. This one was weird in general. So I responded to PPD's tweet, and I was in the pool. So what was different about this one compared to the last one is last time they had 40 people or whatever, and then they drafted schoolyard style, so everybody got drafted. This time they had more people than they needed for the teams, so the captains could just pick from that pool. And I kind of understand that, but at the same time, it totally shifts the dynamic of the event, because with that prize pool, everybody just wants to win, so everybody's just going to pick the closest to pro players that you can find out of that pool. So it's not really a streamer event anymore. It's a semi-pro Dota event of people that also use Twitch whenever they feel like it. And I'm not necessarily against that. It was just a little I didn't even realize it was like that. So I thought I was playing in it and then looked to check what team I was on and was like, oh, wait, I'm in this pool with B-Cop and Lyrical and we're not playing? Oh, that fucking sucks. And then I looked at the teams and was just like, this is just like shitty NA Dota scrims now. Like, it isn't part of the fun of the last one. And even though the last one was jarbled for other reasons, like my team, like every team had that balance of it was reverse captain's draft. And I had like Synderen and Gork on my team. And that was part of the strategy. I was the position 5 that tanked the shitty hero that nobody wanted to play. And that was part of the thing the good players had to play around. How do we carry the fucking retards on our team? I was the retard. You know, and that was fun. That was like what made it a cool event where like, you know, B-Cop or the other like the casters that were playing were clearly the weak links. And that's what made it dynamic and not just, hey, we've got more semi-pro players than you do.
It was kind of lame that it was like a lot of people basically got to play and make money that don't actually stream on Twitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like,
exactly.
Yeah, they have it and whatever.
It's like, are you technically an affiliate or part? It's like, well, yeah, of course. That's not a huge requirement for somebody that's a semi-pro Dota player. But that doesn't mean that they're certainly not streamers first. They're not. They're just Dota players, and that's.
But like the EU one was a disaster. Like,
yeah.
I'm not against bringing in people. I don't even want to flame people like Snowfox and the Frog TV guys and like people who are Dota streamers because they are Dota streamers, and I think those are the people that should be invited to this event. But it should not have been 5 pros versus. 5 non-pros. I mean, it was obviously Gork and Bulldog, extremely good. And then the other guy was Immortal too. But then you have like 2 Divines, and it's like, okay, well, this isn't going to be fun. That's literally like me being on the team.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to win.
No,
they should have. And like Waga wasn't invited. Sheep wasn't invited. If you go right now to the Dota 2 section and look at the top streamers, how do these people not get invited? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question.
How did they not invite the fake Thompsonist account? Thompson that's on every single day, you know? Where was Thompsonist Sam or whatever it's labeled as today, giving away free Arcanas with 4,000 viewers?
My God.
But, yeah.
No, I don't know. And it's a shame because you don't want to flame too hard because overall, like, Twitch Rivals is designed for the community. That's $50,000 going to streamers, supposedly, that otherwise wouldn't exist. They are directly trying to help support people like you and me that are just making content through these difficult times. That's awesome, admirable. Conceptually, I love it. I think it's a great use of Twitch marketing dollars. It actually puts money in the hands of people and gives them a reason to stream. It's the definition of free content. But that doesn't abscond you from the responsibility of putting together an event that makes it worth a damn and doesn't just make people wonder if there was some weird collusion to turn this into sanctioned donations to this team that was 100% going to win the lion's share of the prize pool. You know, that's just,
I don't buy into any of these stupid conspiracy
No,
theories
it's just
have.
incompetence. It's just
nobody
was paid to give a shit about the balance of this. So nobody did. I'm sure this is just a case of failed incentives. I mean, what is the incentive for Twitch? If they wanted to support those people financially, they could just give them money as signing deals or better. Like, there are so many ways they could do that without the PR liability. That would be like the stupidest thing ever. So yeah, I don't buy any of that conspiracy shit. But it was disappointing. And I was excited to play in it. I really enjoyed the last one.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
I know. I'm a great position 5. I can take directions. If Synderen tells me something, I'm listening. One of my most proud Dota moments ever, my position 5 PL, and I was under a tier 1, and the other team was diving me. It might have been you. You might have been one of the motherfuckers diving me. And I remember Gork said, they're diving PL, don't TP, it's not worth it to save him. And I remember not saying to the team, but on my stream, oh, that's nice, but I know where I stand. And I started moving around in the trees, and then Gork goes, oh, wait, he's actually making a lot of space, actually. And I remember that because he said actually twice in the same sentence. And then Synderen said, fuck it, I'm TPing. And then Gork was like, okay, I'm coming too. And then they came, and I lived, and they fucking killed your dumbasses. And I was the great bait that turned it around, and I was just like, making Gork and Synderen proud. Fuck yeah! That was actually my most proud Dota moment.
And there were a lot of funny moments in those events because of that.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a battle of skill where you want like the best players you can find that stream on Twitch. It's fun to mix in some underdogs so you can make little plays like that and actually do some cool hype moments. I also think it makes the casting more fun. I remember watching some of the clips of Blitz and Cap. Like, I remember Blitz being like, I don't even know why Zyori's playing in this event. He's terrible. Like, but shit like that it's engaging. It's funny. It creates these storylines. Like, it makes the event more about the community than it does about, okay, who's the highest rated pub player I can get on my team. And I think that kind of shit is more in the spirit of what Twitch Rivals should be from my perspective, as someone who really enjoyed playing in the second most recent one.
And either way, the whole thing should just pick what you're trying to do.
Yes.
I mean,
is it like a competitive thing, or is it more of a community thing where it's? Because remember, that second one was supposed to be balanced, where you play the 1v1s and then that seeds you into like this 2v2 thing, and like all of it was built to try to make the teams even, so that it was, like the Cinderins were spread out across teams and the Zyoris were spread out across teams, and that was the whole point. That was why the format was so weird, was so that we could develop that seeding, and they just threw all that shit out the window. It's fuck it, just pick your friends. So anyway, we'll see what comes next for Twitch Rivals.
Yeah, Twitch, call me up if you want someone to just pick either good teams or just give you all the Dota streamers and do a pool like last time.
Yeah.
Not just shitty NA scrims. I mean, Peter put it perfectly. He said they could have gotten all these same guys to play for $10,000. That's what Peter said in his video about it. Like for the NA one, at least. It's like, you could have put up 10K and all these exact guys would have signed up to play because they're all just going to play these same kind of pubs with these same people that night anyway.
I think that's completely valid.
Yeah. They basically just chucked an extra. I mean, no one's going to complain. Thank you for throwing more money at the Dota scene. I want more Twitch Rivals events with Dota, obviously.
Yes.
I want more of my Dota friends to make some cash so they can keep playing Dota.
Mm-hmm.
Just, we can make it better with that much money. God, $50,000. Imagine what we do with $50,000 for an event.
Dude. Yeah, seriously. That's the kind of shit, like, maybe I get why they don't want to play favorites and stuff like that. But, yeah, I agree. Twitch, if you want some free consulting, we're here. We're here. I'm very cheap. Very cheap. I work for free more often than I should. All right, gang. Well, always a pleasure to podcast in front of y'all. We're back on this RSS feed, as we mentioned at the beginning. Just search Trent Zyori Podcast. It should start to pop up. The iTunes feed should hopefully get approved in the next day or so. Spotify's already back. The source is back to Zyori.tv. Head over to the website.
Ta-da!
Find yourself a book, and that's where the podcast is going to be. Trent, it's always a pleasure, bud.
It was great.
I'm gonna go
Good
play
to be
some
back.
pubs and try to not throw it high ground. All right, today.
I believe in you, dude.
Today is the day.
Are you gonna stream it for the people?
Oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna stream it for the people.
Boy. All right, good. I'll see if I can join you. I'll ask my wifey really nicely.
All right, that's good. You can always backseat me as well. I love the live.
I'm always
culture.
down for that.
And it's also fun just to get the reality check on the teammates. So like, you lose a team fight, they go, guys, we're behind by like 8,000. You go back and look at the graph. Yeah, we were still ahead by 2,000. You were a little off on your read of the, you could see the gold they got from killing us, right? Like you could do. Those moments are fantastic. All right,
that's
folks.
a real classic.
Yeah. All right.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.